us today about why he chose to be the president. As you know, Kigame is a well-known musician. He has been singing gospels for long, as country, as reggae, as just the general worship, Swahili music. He is known as a musician in Kenya, and so it has his declaring that he wants to campaign and even vie for a seat as a president did not land well with so many people. So he's going to talk with us about that, and I hope all of you have some time aside so we can try to get him and listen to his reasons why he has decided to be part of this. And if when we are ready, we will get to him, and then we will hear his views and why he decided to become president, or to become the fifth president of Kenya, and what are his plans, and how does it affect us in diaspora at all. I mean, we are not living in the country, but does he even think about us? We want to hear about that. And what is he going to change, and how is he going to change? Because wanting to change something is normal. Every politician promises to want to change something. But is he going to change things that affect us? What is he going to change, and how does he plan to change whatever he's planning to change? It would be nice to have those words and to hear from him direct what he has to say. Are we ready? Okay, so we will make a short break and then we get Mr. Kigame.
9.22 FM. This is Radio Ara. This is Radio Ara, home of African music. 99.22 FM. This is Radio Ara. This is Radio Ara, home of African music.
are going to have some questions directed to him because we need to know who he is, what is he planning, what can we expect from him, not only as Kenyans living in Kenya, but also Kenyans in diaspora. Mr. Kigame, introduce yourself, please, for our listeners.
Guten Abend, ich heiße Ruben Kigame und ich komme aus Kenia.
Wow.
Many people think Kigame, is a musician, but I do wear many hats. I do wear certainly the hat of a musician, but I also wear the hat of a teacher. I'm a trained teacher, and I'm also a trained broadcast journalist. And I'm a social activist. As someone living with disability, of course, I also, come from that constituency that handles a lot with matters of disability.
Wow, this is great to hear. So, I mean, many people were trying to bash you back to your musical career and saying, as a Christian, you are not supposed to be doing politics. And I have followed a lot of discussions on that, and I find always your answer is very fitting. Just like, would you tell the people why you're not just going to be only the musician, which is a ministry you do with a lot of love and devotion? Why was it important for you? And how did you answer the critics who think that as a musician, a gospel musician, you should not be doing politics at all?
That is a problem we have in the church because a lot of people think that there is a dichotomy between being a Christian and being something else. Strangely, they don't ask the same question of medical doctors or lawyers or educationists. It is peculiar when it comes to Christians because apparently a lot of Christians draw a difference between faith and daily living. So they think daily living is secular and, being a Christian is sacred. I think that is one of the worst forms of duality. That kind of dualism does not work in terms of delivering the clear thinking about Christian engagement in, daily life. And the worst hit is usually the area of politics because they say politics is very dirty. But I quickly say it's dirty because it's full of dirty people.
Exactly.
And those are the people we need to get out.
Sure.
And the other thing is that the Bible is replete with a lot of examples about political people, the kings of Israel. And Jesus also took a very strong political swipe at society and was a very socially engaged person. The gospel is really about engaging the human person where he is in culture, in the economics, in his philosophy, and the politics notwithstanding. So when you read Isaiah 61 and Luke chapter 4 that depicts that very passage, Jesus is saying that he has come to relieve social pressure from people. It's not just spiritual, it's also about mourning and poverty and, a lot of the social ills.
Wow. Yeah, then it makes it clear that it is also a duty actually of the Christian to look at the social ills and be urged to act. And out from this direction, that's where you're coming from. You're saying, I'm a Christian, I'm serving as a Christian, but also the political issues concern me as a social, these are social issues.
Agnes, the church has a very narrow understanding of engagement with the world, and that needs to be corrected because when we say the kingdom of God, it touches everything. And also when we talk about God's love for the world, there are no parts of the world where God does not love. When we see God so loved the world, he loves the politician too. He loves the person on the streets as much as he loves the person at the office, in the lecture hall, and so on.
Wow, wow. That's a very strong point. God so loved the world. That means in every area, a Christian has to be present and active. So now, as you decided to become a candidate, I mean, you're vying now, you're campaigning, you're moving everywhere in Kenya trying to get voters for yourself. But what are you telling the people? What can they expect from you when you get, in case you get voted as the 5th president of Kenya?
I come to the table with real solutions. Kenya is in a very bad place. We have lost our value system. We are one of the most corrupt countries in the world. We have a government that is full of impunity, a lot of killings, police brutality. So you find people killed in one part of the country and then dumped in a river, and nobody's asking these big questions. So we have an education system that produces zombies instead of people who can engage with the world. And so everything in terms of social fabric has broken down. And so my point is, we cannot come to the solution of these problems with your usual, dump money at people, bribe them, and expect that you will change the country. So my
I think you have lost it.
so,
Hi? Can you still hear us? Hello?
I think you've lost him
I
somehow.
think we have
Yes.
lost him, yeah, the connection. Mr. Kigame, can you hear us?
Let's get back to him again. Let's get back to him again.
Okay, we'll get back to you again. I think we'll try to
We'll
get back to you again.
sir, in a moment. I think the connection is a little bit poor. To get him back, we can just try again to get him back so that we see what he is doing. Ruben Kigame,
Yeah.
the aspiring 5th president of Kenya.
Yes.
I'm telling you, it's nice to talk to him. It's nice to talk to him. He has said, I can see something here that when I try to read it in Swahili, amejitoa kushughulikia ufisadi, meaning corruption, hunger, njaa, magonjwa, sicknesses, and what's next there on the 4th agenda, madeni. We have borrowed a lot as a country. Ukabila, which is something that is affecting most of the Kenyans down there. Ubaguzi wa kina mama, wazee, na something of the sort. I can see the other side. He's talking about ukosefu wa masomo na kazi kwa vijana. There are no jobs actually, according to Ruben Kagame, and it's a fact. It's a fact. There's no job. So if we can get him back again, hello sir,
Hello?
can you get us again? Hello sir.
yes, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
now we can get
hear
you.
Sorry, we lost you for a short time, but you were explaining to
apologize.
us. Yeah,
All right,
no
no
problem.
problem.
No problem. We are happy to have you.
Yeah, so I was saying that the biggest thing I bring to the table is values.
Yes.
The restoration of values, accountability, transparency, and the rule of law, and a visitation on human dignity and basic human rights. And expression.
Yeah. Those are big plans, Mr. Kigame. So, I mean, everyone would like to have a country without corruption. Everyone would like to have a country where education system is functioning and there is no hunger, there is no sickness, there is no debt anymore, there is no tribalism as you have on your agenda, and no discrimination, and also education would be better. But, I mean, the other politicians have been trying or promising to do that. How do you plan to implement that is really a reality once you get into power? Because many people have been saying, well, Kigame has not been in politics for long. We don't know how he's going to do that. He doesn't have the experience. But how do you plan to do that, sir?
So the first thing is, it's a lie that I have not been in politics for long, because even as early as 2013, I already ran for governor in one of the counties. And then, of course, right from my student days, I have been a social democrat. And I've engaged the society very much, from a civil rights point of view. And so the reason why I have not been in government is because I have been ignored, and then a lot of denied opportunities because of my visual handicap. This is not a society that is very inclusive, and so of course they will naturally ignore me. But I don't think they can ignore me anymore, because we have come out strong, and this time around we're going all the way to the ballot with a much bigger office. And the way to be able to deal with this is, first of all, to come to it with your own example. Unlike my competitors who have stolen from the government, unlike my competitors who have been in government and have not fixed the problems we have, I come with, the humility of being an outsider, but also the only experience I do not have is the looting. The only experience I do not have is mismanagement. So I think it's safer to try somebody fresh, somebody new, and my own record in my small spaces, whether as a teacher, as a broadcaster, as a trainer, as a musician, has been consistent. And that is what I take to the table.
Wow. That is very, very powerful. The argument is really hitting home, because that really clears the air that people cannot just think because you've not been doing this or that, you are not fit. I think you're fit and you are ready to start. You have your plan, what you want to do, and you have the how. Now, the issue of funding, and how are you going about it? Because the others, they say, the Kenyans mostly, they are saying, oh, these ones, they have a lot of money, so we have to go to their sites because they're going to give us this and that. How are you going about that problem, sir?
In fact, that is the first thing my candidature is setting out to deconstruct, because that is where our problem is. Because our thinking is such that if you have a lot of money, then you are a good leader, or if you have so much money during the campaign period, you are a much more powerful leader. The truth is that probably the more money you have, the more unworthy you are to be a leader in Kenya today. Because most of that money is either stolen and or the abuse of resources. So that you have people in office that are using state resources to campaign, and so on and so forth. So we would have to rewrite that narrative by doing campaigning different, even with less money. So I come to it almost like as somebody who defies the issue of running a successful campaign using money. So what I do is, instead of, dishing money, we refuse money. Instead of, attracting funding from people that would then, bring me the millions and so on, I say campaigning, in fact, the campaign stage is where you lose, you gain credibility in terms of your leadership role. I think that if you look at how people are campaigning, you can tell whether they'll make good leaders or not, because a lot of bad deals are made, so people fund each other in return for things like tenders and or positions in government. And so I have rejected all of those persuasions and decided I'll just do what is right, because I would want to do an inclusive government without anybody telling me you must form this way. And also, I do not want any kind of corrupt deals in terms of the funding. So I appeal to crowds usually. They send me their 100 shillings, 500 shillings, 1,000 shillings. One guy even sent me 10,000. So it is when I have the money that I move, not to speculate and pick on a campaign be questioned. And then, of course, accountability. Where do you get this money from, and how do you spend it? We have all of that accounted for. My competitors cannot account for most of what they dish out. I mean, today, if you went to a bank in Kenya and you had 500,000 shillings in your account, the bank will be asking where you got your money from.
Sure.
And so if someone is giving out 50 or 60 million per week, and his salary is maybe 1.5 or 2 million, the question is, where is this money coming from?
Yeah, exactly.
And this would be the natural thing for Kenyans within the country and the diaspora to measure and reject some leaders on the basis of dirty money. A lot of laundering, a lot of illicit offshore accounts. Just the money is part of the problem, not even our solution.
Wow, that is big. That is big. And I'm really impressed how you're dealing with it. This is so courageous because, I mean, everybody says doing politics, you need a lot of money. You're starting with a step of faith. This is lived Christianity, or not?
Lived Christianity.
This is lived. This
I'm
is
telling
real.
you.
But you see, that's why I'm saying this thing does not begin now, because when I was 16 years old, I read a book that transformed my life, Luther the Reformer.
Oh.
You see, Martin Luther gave me two things that have lived with me. The first one is that as a Christian, you don't have to kiss your brains goodbye. He was a very intelligent
Right.
that was able to reason through. By the time he's pinning the 95 theses on the Wittenberg Cathedral door, he has thought through what the church is all about, and anyone who can stand against the church is not your ordinary critic. So Martin Luther gave me the apologetics, but he also, taught me that as a Christian, you can engage society with the word of God and with truth. And, up to this day, like Luther, here I stand.
Wow. Do you think that the masses have been used to the way politics are led so that they're not open to a new way of dealing with politicians, that people just come expecting to be given things and they don't think of the manifesto or what the people are offering, what these politicians are offering? Do you think that people are like that? Now, talking of the common mwananchi, the common Kenyan citizen.
There are two perspectives among citizens. The first one is almost forced on them because, they've always done things a particular way and things have not worked. So they've always elected certain people, they've always taken the money of politicians and so on, but that has not delivered the country. And so that is one way. They are naturally tired of doing things the same way. And so there are good chances that they will give a candidate like us, a chance. But on the other hand, the way revolution works is such that it's people-driven. Any revolution that transforms a society is not top-down. It's usually down-up, and so if you make people very poor and hungry and unhealthy, they will come and pull down your systems. They will certainly destroy, government as it is set. And if you look at the Arab Spring, for example, if you look at what went on in Sudan, you're basically talking about a people that are tired. And South Africa was such a case where apartheid was too much. The people just went into an uprising. And so where we are getting as Kenyans is that people would have to choose between revolution through a bullet or revolution through a ballot. And my approach, like Martin Luther King Jr., would be that, to be able to do through the ballot and civil persuasion and so on, because the bullet always leaves a lot of destruction in its wake and it doesn't work. So I would say it's a good opportunity, and a lot of Kenyans are tired, and I hope that they join, revolutionary voices like us to be able to deliver, the much needed change. You cannot deliver change for Kenya now if you are a coward. Absolutely not. You'd have, like David, to face Goliath. You'd have to say no to status quo. You may have to deny yourself. And of course, for me as a blind person, I'm a very easy target. And so my security and also the audacity to face the giants is something that I need more than just courage. I need faith. And so I'm facing the giants, daring systems, saying things people don't ordinarily say, and I'm hoping that Kenyans give me a chance. Because courage is one thing, but Kenyans giving you a chance is another thing. That's why I would say even those in the diaspora need to think outside the box and not be polarized and do things the same way, because they will never get different results. So I would say that we have a very good chance, because the entire country is sort of fed up with status quo, and I have a very good chance.
Your Excellency, before we ask you about the diasporans, or how are you going to deal with the people in diaspora, or what is in your manifesto, we have seen Kenyans, or we have seen candidates who are going for the presidential elections from UDA, from Jubilee, from Azimio. There's something that we are used to, that at the end of the day, there are going to be some coalitions between two candidates, so that a political party can be stronger to go to the elections. Can you get us, sir?
Yes,
It's a little bit connecting. Hello, sir. Can you get us?
Yeah.
Yes. I was asking about the coalition. As maybe anyone, or have you thought of joining a certain person in a certain political party to have a coalition, so that you may be stronger, as the Kenyans are used to coalitions? Is there anybody who has approached you for a coalition or something like that?
A lot of people have approached me for coalitions and alliances, but because of what I stand for, I'm very selective.
Okay.
So I'm currently part of an alliance that is called the Eagles National Alliance, which brings together value-based parties and groups. And so together with some of the people from the civil society, we are coming together with an alliance that and this is going to be a game changer. But the difference is that we come together not because we want to just form numbers and have an appeal. We're coming together because we believe the same thing.
All right.
Great, wonderful.
We have actually the second question that someone is trying to ask ask Sir Ruben Kigame, what is your take on the deputy president who is in power right now and still campaigning that is out of government? What has been your take all along?